Let's start with Billy Napier, though. Napier being asked about Lagway, and then we'll hear from Lagway himself.
Christy Freud, USA Today. I wanted to ask you about DJ Lagway and where you view him as being from a mental and mechanical perspective, and what do you think his best attribute is as a quarterback?
Yeah, great question. I think, DJ, obviously, I think last year was kind of forced into the lineup about halfway through the year. And he and I have had this conversation. I think that he didn't have time to think about anything. He was consumed with preparing, being at his best for the team. And then now, after the season, after the bowl game, you get a chance to regroup a little bit. So obviously he's very talented, but I think to me, we're working on the skill level, the fundamentals, the techniques. We're working on improving his knowledge, his overall football IQ, situational football. I think one of the areas he's ahead of the game is as a competitor. I think he's really good on game day. And then I think in general, he has character. I think he's very humble. I think he's really engaged every part of the organization, the way he treats people. So a little more advanced just from a maturity standpoint. I think his humility, his desire to improve, those are the things that stand out to me about DJ.
Alex Byington on 3. You mentioned earlier, and both your players, Jake and Caleb, mentioned that DJ kind of has a different personality on game day versus the rest of the week. Can you elaborate on that? Just, what do you see when he turns the switch on game day?
Yeah, I think he's got a really unique ability to eliminate the external. I think he can be present. I think he's consumed with playing winning football and doing what he needs to do to help the team win. Just a little different look in his eye. And I think that late in the week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, the guy's played a lot of football. I think he played in the state of Texas. I think it was a big deal in his community to be the quarterback, to lead the team. And he really took his high school team to unprecedented success and was a leader, was kind of the catalyst for that. So this is just the next stop for him. But I think that's one of the best attributes about him is he's a great game day competitor. And I think the team feeds off of that.
Trevor Denton, Way 31. How do you manage the pressure of being the starting quarterback at the University of Florida, especially after the way you played last season, entering this one as the starter?
Yeah, for sure. I always say pressure is a privilege, and once you have pressure, that means people are counting on you to do big things. So I'm always excited when people say pressure, and that's why I just love game day atmosphere, because it feels like all eyes are on you and you got to put on a show, so that's what I'm excited for, yeah.
2 to finish on the second row and then on the 5th row.
Kind of along those lines, how do you internalize that pressure? And I mean, not to harp on it, but there was a lot of pressure on you specifically last season to kind of save your coach's job at one point. So how do you handle that?
Yeah, the way I handle pressure and, all that stuff, I kind of prepare during the week like crazy. And preparation leads to confidence. So once I get to Saturday, I already know that I didn't put the work in. I did all I needed to do. And kudos to the coaching staff. They prepare us like crazy. Like Coach O'Hara and Coach Napier, they put together a plan for the quarterbacks and just all the team in general. So when we get out there, we already know what's going to happen dang near. So it's great.
DJ, aside from something like leadership, what do you think your best attribute is as a quarterback? And do you have anybody that you model yourself after at all?
I'll say my best leader as a quarterback is, my best attribute as a quarterback is really I'd say as people would say, aura, confidence, and just the way I portray myself on game day. My teammates always joke around about, they say that I'm a totally different person on game day, and that kind of oozes out of me, and it's just great to be able to be that for my guys,
Alex Byington on 3. DJ, as a freshman, most players don't come in thinking they have to kind of put the world on their shoulders, but when you were kind of thrust in there, that's exactly what had to happen. But
sure.
How often, I'm sure you heard some of the speculation about Coach Napier and his job status and hot seat talk. How much did that actually impact you? And was that a part of your day-to-day thinking when you were out there playing?
Yeah, when I'm out there playing, I'm just thinking about playing ball. I'm worried about, trying to figure out my freshman year, trying to figure out where my guys were going, but I was just, every time I stepped on the field, that's when life just kind of stopped for me. And it's just like just playing ball and just being like just in the moment. My biggest thing last year, I always wanted to get into something called flow state, And flow state is like where you're just moving and it's just natural. Everything happens naturally, and that's kind of where I wanted to be at every year, every game.
Christy Freud with USA Today. I was going to ask, where are you looking to grow personally, whether that be from a mechanical or mental perspective heading into the season, and what can we expect your pre-snap and post-snap responsibilities to be?
Yeah, for sure. I'm definitely looking to improve on more coverage recognition and knowing where the defense is going to be and truly knowing their responsibilities and also knowing my teammates' responsibilities better.
There we go. Hearing from the quarterback right there, DJ Lagway. And man, you have to love hearing how he embraces pressure. And look, pressure can come from so many ways. When you're the quarterback at the University of Florida. I mean, look, when you're a 5-star quarterback choosing Florida, we kind of already know that about you. Now, sure, you are going to embrace the pressure. And that goes for anybody choosing your commit as a quarterback to Florida. But when you're a 5-star and you have those expectations and you choose a program like Florida, choosing a place like that has the expectations we do, yeah, that tells me you're ready to embrace it. Quarterback for the Florida Gators, it's a lightning rod. It gets so much attention, especially when it's good. When you're a good quarterback in University of Florida, you are all over headlines, whether it be college football or national headlines, it's there. A lot of times, because, when you're a really good quarterback at Florida, you're in the national championship discussion. You're in the top of the SEC discussion. So that's there. But we've seen it. We've seen it. So we as a fan base, we put the expectation of the next Danny Werfel, the next Rex Grossman, the next Tebow, the next Kyle Trask on a quarterback like this, and add in the pressure of trying to turn around Florida at the same time. And you heard the question asked, too, of, hey, maybe even the pressure of trying to save your head coach's job. You have to have a guy that thinks like this, that embraces the pressure like this for wanting to be that guy to turn it around. You have to have a guy like that. If Florida's going to turn it around, if Florida's going to compete for titles, given where this program has been, you probably need the quarterback like DJ Lagway. He embraces it. And I really think it bled over into the team. Florida was a different team when Lagway got playing time. And it really showed potential. And that potential opened up decision-making from veterans to, hey, we want to be part of this. To finish what they started, to help turn Florida around. The expectations for this team are pairing this veteran experience with the talent and the talented youthfulness of somebody like DJ Lagway. And it's setting up for this to be Billy Napier's best team. And we haven't seen the true DJ Lagway yet. And I think it's got to be scary for opponents. And I know I'm looking at it through orange and blue glasses. I think DJ Lagway is going to be that guy. And not just because he's more experienced. Yeah, I expect just a general jump from year 1 to year 2. We all expect that, but we haven't seen the true DJ Lagway, just a pure player yet. We know he isn't going to be this run-heavy quarterback, but it is an element to his game that was so limited late last season due to injury. He's a pocket quarterback first, and he needs to be, but it'd be up to him to know when to use his legs on RPOs or when a play breaks down. You need to be on the staff somewhat to have a feel when to call design runs. But all that was limited last year. It forced Lagway to be a pocket passer, and in some ways that helps him because he can work on those things. He can work on being that pocket passer, and he can take the next step in that regard. But now we get to include, hopefully, the element of his legs. And that's what has us excited about the potential of DJ Lagway. Pair that with the deep ball ability. Pair his legs with that. An element we've got to see very, very, very little of last year. And pair that with a run game Florida has. I mean, if Lagway's on and the offensive line is on and he's getting help from his receivers and you get to add in a run game, I mean, you know, if that deep ball's still there, what's that going to do for the run game? What's that going to do for guys like Jaden Ball and Jacoby Jackson, an offensive line that gets to face a light box because they're afraid of Lagway throwing it over their head? This has the potential to be a versatile offense, a very versatile offense. Look, I know many of you out there want to want to throw the ball 40, 45 times a game. I'd like to do that too. But I'd like to have the ability to throw the ball 40, 45 times a game. We need it. If we need to run the ball 50 times to win a game, then go do it and need it. But it all starts with Lagway being able to keep defenses honest with his legs and that deep ball potential. If all that's there, good luck stopping this offense. Now, there's a coaching aspect of it too, and I know a lot of people will throw that in our faces. But this was an offense nearing 30 points a game last year. I mean, I'm adding another touchdown for my expectation. This should be an offense averaging 34, 35 points a game. There's a lot of potential here. But if DJ Lagway's on, man, good luck. Good luck stopping this offense. Not just because of his arm, but he's going to open up that run game. With his legs, with Ball, and Jackson, and Webb, and whoever else gets carries. That's the potential of this offense. That's the potential of this offense. It's going to be, it can be scary. But the thing to me is, you know, it's not being able to go out there. Well, we saw 2020. We saw that happen. And now there's a defense part of that too. And hey, defense can play into this too. If Florida can't stop a soul on defense, Florida may have to slow down the game a little bit or be able to catch up in shootouts. But you need to be able to kind of read the game and then dictate what you want. If the defense is getting scored on left and right, you're either going to have to catch up or you're going to have to slow the game down. Florida's offense needs to be able to have the ability to do either one. If it's late in the game, we saw this in 2020 too many times. Offense was scoring, defense couldn't stop, but offense couldn't salt the game away in the run game. Still had to rely on the passing game in late game situations. It made some games a lot hairier than they should have been. Well, if this one, you're up by 4 and you got the ball with 4 minutes left, go salt the game away with I guess you could do it with another big passing play. But you don't want to get the risk of a sack fumble, or a tip ball interception. Florida needs to have the ability to run the ball when they want to and pass the ball when they want to. And I think there's a lot of potential of this offense to be able to do that.